lounge, guys.
Thank you very much, Doa. Indeed, things just heating up, and we're going to break it down here together with Crepo and the Fisho. Because looking at game 2, now all square, and a similar composition or a similar idea also coming out of the KOO Tigers this time around.
Yeah, so what we see for them again with this Veigar pick in the mid lane is they want to do this 1-4 siege composition, where of course Fiora has to do really well up on the top side. That didn't look very good in the start for KOO Tigers because of the ganks that came in, you know, Smep fell behind 0-2 very, very early.
Yeah, KT did a good job of recognizing where KOO was strong to build up their composition. So they took away the 1 out of the 4-1 part, and they took down Smeb in the top lane. He eventually got back later. But I just want to compliment Score on his early ganks, the way he pathed in for a couple really efficient, quick-paced ganks, especially when he went bot later on. We also have a replay of that coming up. So definitely the mechanical outplay he did in the first few ganks set KT up to take the pace of the game and potentially snowball it, but it kind of went down.
Yeah, again, so he gets the good ganks off, and it looked awesome for them. LeBlanc is doing fine in the mid lane and everything, but once we get the counter gank from Hojin coming in, gets the 1 kill, then Smep gets a solo kill as well up in that top lane, and that's where it really starts going wrong, because Fiora will always outscale a Renekton, and then we get this split push suddenly happening, and we also get to see a fairly weird strategy for KT, where they keep the LeBlanc in the mid lane with teleport, just sitting there farming over and over. They keep putting Jinx in the bottom lane, give her all the farm. She doesn't apply any pressure. She just pushes the wave and runs away. Why do you pick LeBlanc with teleport then if you're not going to split push? That's how you're going to close out the game.
Especially knowing that KT had started to build up an advantage. We pulled a replay up on the screen of the bottom lane gank by Score. Also very well executed, because it's not just going down there, but you also have to make it work.
Yeah, if you look at where Score is right now, he's right outside of your screen in the bottom brush. There's okay, Arrow and Peekaboo going to walk back, and he's just snuck in there. They don't expect him to come in. These body slams, knows he can't get close enough. Instant R, both of them knock forward. Now look at Peekaboo as well, getting in a position, going to flash after instant R, and they really play around that Shen shield, immediately go for Prey, then take out Gorilla. This was Score sneaking in the bot lane. He went top earlier, got a kill on Smep, so he was definitely directing the pace of the early game, and he got KT pretty far ahead.
But a fairly weird thing, if you look at the replay here, was yes, he made a play on the bottom side of the map. Top side, they just killed the Renekton. There was 1 ward placed by KT. They've just been dominating 2-0 up there. You have a Renekton that's going to take over the game, invest vision into that side, take over completely. Don't allow suddenly the enemy junglers to just walk up the river and get an easy gang off to kind of turn the game around. So there's a lot of mistakes for KT in how they want to close out the games. And again, how they play the 1-3-1, it allows the siege to happen for the KOO Tigers.
I do think it was a good idea in a sense going bot lane to take care of the Shen ulti that way.
Bot is fine. I want the vision on top side, so your top lane does not die.
Vision top needs to be better, because Renekton should be able to snowball that matchup, and we have to also just question Sunday. Maybe could have had to push the advantage more home. But the biggest thing for me is that in the mid game, once KOO Tigers started actually getting that siege on, we could see the strengths of this composition.
Yeah, definitely. We also have a replay to show that. Much like where in game 1 there was a comeback from KT through a team fight, this time KOO correctly identifies what they're supposed to do with their composition.
Yeah, so some good things about the comp here. First of all, Caitlyn against the LeBlanc, you can just alter every single time before a fight, and then Veigar can follow up with his ulti if she ever jumps in, or stun her. So this is the 4-1 siege. Look at the bottom lane Fiora. She will have the Shen support as well as backup.
Yeah, and also just look at where the Jinx is on the map right now. Arrow just way too late to that party overall, and we should have had Nognis split pushing on that LeBlanc. We should have had him clearing the waves. He can dash in to the mid lane to rotate quicker. Worst case, he can even teleport in. So you should definitely have your Jinx in the mid lane there, as you were saying earlier. And
it's just so weird, because
so weird that they do that.
Caitlyn is sitting in a side lane versus the Jinx. They just keep wave playing against each other. What happens if LeBlanc walks into that lane? Caitlyn dies, or she runs away.
She did.
So you take over that lane, and you have teleport, while Veigar is sitting mid lane anyway, just trying to push in the wave. The KT way of playing with this teleport LeBlanc is not really very effective. In the last game, they relied on outplaying in team fights, not on picking off targets or split pushing, even though that's
they had
what
top
the comp
snowballing as well.
Exactly. Like, that was still a weird game for me that KT managed to turn that one around. That was more misplaced for KOO Tigers in team fights than KT doing extremely well.
And it also comes down to what we thought about Kuro versus Nagne. Monty that's saying Kuro was maybe underperforming, but he played the Veigar here really well. A lot better zoning with the Event Horizon, and LeBlanc, as we saw yesterday in that Fnatic game, when it goes off, it can absolutely snowball, but Nagne not taking the best approach to it.
Yeah, and here we see KOO. They should be happy with that game.
Yep.
They kind of threw away their lead a little bit in game 1, and this time, once they played to their strengths of the composition, they quite comfortably won. And KT, they looked a little lost. They had a early game composition where they relied on certain members snowballing. They got them ahead, didn't snowball anymore, and then they didn't move the strong members of their team to the areas where the opposing team was weak. And then obviously a siege composition like this will pull ahead.
Although for KT going into next game maybe really quickly, it did come down to a couple of individual mistakes, especially the build path coming out of Someday as well. So I feel like we might have a 5-gamer on our hands.
He was kind of done so no matter what up there in top lane when you build, like when you play Renekton into Fiora, so that's going to happen. But I'm just looking at the entire team more than just him building some magic resist, because the entire team here needs to play better on the map. They need to be able to push to 1-3-1 if they want to run this comp. Otherwise, Veigar is just going to do exactly this every single game you play.
Well, we'll see what happens. And if we see the Veigar again in Game 3, we might have 5 games on our hands. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with Game 3 of KOO versus KT. Don't go anywhere.
Gorilla going to play Shen support for the first time ever.
Oh, they got him with the Event Horizon. Will that be enough damage? Gorilla gets taken out by Nagne, though. There goes the support on the other side. Smeb is godlike with a kill there. Nagne comes in, nearly takes out Prey, but it's not enough. Oh, Nagne! Nagne over the wall doing absolutely nothing. KOO just all over KT right now. Nagne has to run ace in the hole, blocked by Arrow. Nagne gonna back out of the fight, got exhausted, couldn't really do anything. Double kill comes in for Kuro. They're gonna tear apart KT. Game 2 goes to KOO Tigers.